everybody and welcome on today's video. 3 years ago my neighbor threw this boxwood out of his garden, and well, of course I rescued it, and it is a clump style. Now clump styles are great, but with boxwood it's a little tricky, especially with this tree, because I don't seem to find a acceptable root. All the roots they've been growing for 10-15 years maybe in his garden, and all the roots are entangled, and I've been scratching the root surface and entangling these roots for 3 years now, and I'm still not getting anywhere, so I don't know what to do. So there are two possibilities: or I can find these roots, or I must separate the trees and then grow them as a little group, a little forest maybe. So I think that's the option that I prefer. So I'm going to take this out of the pot and we'll have a look at it. When I got this tree, I immediately planted it in a quite shallow tray, and it's just last year that I put it in this pot, and look, it filled the whole pot with roots. So I guess these trees are quite healthy. So yeah, I filled it up just with garden compost, and I guess that the top layer should be quite easy to remove, because it's just been added last year. But then you see we already are in a spot where all these roots are entangled, and it is not possible to find good circular radial roots, I mean, and no, I don't think it's going to work. So I can scratch the surface for the coming decade and then still not have good roots, and that's not the only problem. Another problem is that, well, there is no real front to this tree, and yeah, so I think I'm going to try to separate them. And it's going to be well, quite complicated. I'm probably going to lose some of these. But on the other hand, I heard that it's quite easy to take cuttings from boxwood. So if they root well as cuttings, probably means that they don't need a whole lot of roots to live, and then I just need to let them recover for a couple of years, and then I can make my little forest or a little group. Anyway, you know, these plants, if you want to buy them, they're not expensive too, but the fun thing about bonsai is when you do everything on your own. Yeah, so you see, this was not in the soil last year, this, and after 1 year got quite a lot of roots, so that's interesting. So I'm going to work my way round to this one here, and I'm going to center the camera a little better. So this one could very well be the first of my little trees. So it's coming from here, so I need to dig a little deeper. Because the more roots I can get off with, the better it will be. They kind of like this substrate. It's very wet. So I think that this is the point where the boxwood is part of the clump. I'm going to get my secateurs here, and make the first cut. So not a lot of roots, but should work. So that's a nice little tree. And another thing, if you want to work with old boxwood, it's complicated because these trees, they are very difficult to wire. So I have another one here that I can try to get loose. I'm just going to stick my secateurs in the clump and try to separate it that way. Now that's not what you want to do with your best secateurs, but these are quite okay because you can get them completely loose and then you can sharpen them again, which is something that I do almost every winter. Okay, I think I got it. So I got this one with quite a lot of root here, so that's much better than the other one. And you see, this can already be cut back. Very hard wood. That's good. That's two. So now we have the bigger guys. And here it's going to become complicated. This is the biggest in the clump, and it has one nice branch that could become a leader here. So I think that I need to get my saw, get it through here, and yeah, that's the only thing I can do. So I'm going to get my saw. Okay, so here I go. Yeah, well, I'm through it. So, well, this is quite interesting. So you see, we have an enormous chunk of wood here. So I don't think that I can ever make a tree with that. So I think the best thing to do is to try to get the small ones off. And try to root the small ones as good as I can. So that's, well, very weak, but possible. I don't know. I'll see. What can I do with this? Well, I can try to find the root base. So, if maybe I cut here, I can use these guys as cuttings. So this becomes an interesting cutting. And this becomes a twin trunk cutting. And even a very little one. Yeah. So that's not bad. Don't think I can use this. So I'm going to plant it just like that. And now for the last one here. I'm going to do exactly the same. So let's be honest, this could become a little complicated to make these trees look nice. And I need big choppers to get these things cleaned out before I plant them. I think these are called loppers or something like that. I don't think that I can try to rescue the little shoot here. It's going to come off. Well, I'll plant it anyway, you never know. I have absolutely no experience with boxwood. This is not a good angle. I'm going to split the trunk. Maybe I just do it this way. Yeah, that's better. Well, talking about refined bonsai design, that's not it. Okay, I'm going to take some knob cutters. Yeah, that seems to work quite nice. So, this first one is good to go. I feel that I have to do this because I'm planning to bury these quite deep. So if this becomes part of a forest, it could very well come at the edge of a forest and grow that direction. So this becomes the leader, this becomes a side branch, so that's not bad. This one, well, there's nothing on this big trunk, absolutely nothing. I just have these small pieces here, which I cannot separate because they're part of this big stump, so I need to saw this again. That's what I meant when I said that this clump was almost impossible to work in. The big stems were well, they had nothing on them. So this piece gave me this, which is, well, something worth working with. Yeah. This with no roots, so that's over. And then this, which could get roots. But I need to make this a little more roundish because should look like a tree in the end. Next part, well, there's nothing here. Could this be one of the leaders? Yes. But then I think if this is to become one of the main trees, because it's a big one, then I'm not going to use this one. Or this one. So sometimes you need to, well, take some decisions. So, that's another. This one is also very suitable as a main tree. It has a good leader here. I should probably get rid of this stump. they really break. You don't cut them, you give an idea to the cut where it should break. That's all you can do, I think. And they don't heal over very well, I noticed. But in that case you just have to try to hide the wound. So that's not bad. Here is a fairly big dead stump. Little branch growing straight up. Will not be used anyway. And now I can come in from the back. Well, this is quite rough work, I must say. Quite a lot of big cuts. Again here, so that's not bad. Here a big dead stump. Little dead stumps. And this one I said I wouldn't need it, so it's gone. So I have a tree here. Yeah. And these are the little shoots we had before. This is wasted. This, well, it's really small. So we have this and we have this. It was the first that I got out, so said I had to clean it up, and that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so next thing to do is find a container where I can put these trees in and hope they will grow. I have a big flower pot here with, well, a whole lot of quite sandy substrate in it. So I'm going to plant these trees now, and I'm going to plant them fairly deep. So this is the king of the castle. I want to plant them deep because I hope that to get some roots here so that I can get rid of the ugly stump there. So that's one. And since I noticed that these trees liked really compost, well, I'm going to add some compost at the top. So, second one. And then next, high hopes for this one. So I'm just planting them, always the front to one side, so that I can cultivate them in that way when I maybe want to prune them or shape them a little already. So I'm going to finish this. It's not really an interesting part of this video. Very small one here. Okay, all the trees are in the long tray now. I feel that I'd like to plant this one just without roots, just to see how they grow as cuttings, right in the middle. So, who knows? So I'm going to finish this up with just garden soil now, which is very dry. But okay, I'll water it. So these are the last bits. And now this tree needs a good watering, of course. Well, this pot needs a good watering. So do I have an attractive bonsai now? No, absolutely not. But at least I have the chance of making a attractive bonsai with this starting material. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, how these trees will grow, if they're going to grow, if they will live, but I'm sure some of them will survive. So it's going to be much better than what I had before. So to be continued, of course, and we'll know a little more in the coming growing season. So thank you for watching and see you next time.